a subatomic level that actually gave the body the opportunity to break down during the course of the day, everything. You can repeat that process now all the time, or keep your eating habits of one big meal a day if you can sustain without being hungry. All right. And when you're talking about being hungry, craving, these is not real. It's in your mind. It's habitual patterns of you always having breakfast and pancakes and eggs that make you say, oh, I'm hungry, or I want breakfast. The first thing you think is breakfast. But to be honest, the body isn't ready at those hours for that type of heavy food because the digestive system is still warm. It's not hot yet. You have to put those type of food in your body according to the sun. When the sun is at 12 o'clock overhead, your digestive system is hot. But prior to that, it's running kind of cool, so you would want to drink hot teas in the morning. And those is your source of minerals. Get all them natural teas. I would get as many different kinds that has magnesium, iron. I'm talking about simple shit like cinnamon tea, ginger tea, clove tea. All of these teas, if you ever read the health benefits of them, and I advise you to Google all of them and every tea, and see what they are. They're the natural minerals that you don't get. When you eat food, what minerals are you getting in rice and steak and chicken? Nothing really. So your minerals is going to come from either the vegetable part, or being that we're in the European side of the world, you don't get it really in vegetables because they're pre-cooked unless you're buying it yourself and cooking. I'm talking frozen wise or canned wise. They don't have the nutrients in it. You have to get it fresh, and you know, even though GMOs still give you the nutrients, you're still putting that incomplete compound in your body, which renders it only partial. The partial part is going to be missing probably calcium or something, or magnesium or iron. It's going to be missing something that your body has to supplement for. So what happens when we eat GMO food? The missing elements is being sucked off your own body. That's why a lot of people have osteoporosis and bone marrow problem, or bone issues, lack of vitamin D. It's because our own body's eating on itself. If it's calcium fortified, the calcium itself needs magnesium and iron to complete it. You can't just have calcium alone, else your body gonna be the magnesium and the iron it uses. So it's gonna take it from your bone marrow, your joints, the bone itself is calcium or magnesium or selenium. So you got to be careful of ingesting certain foods. So the best thing to do, not to be your own executioner, is just live a natural life. Food is not important. You know, that goes back to what craving is, hunger is, starvation is. You have to slowly wean yourself off. And to give you it, I'm going to give you something to Google to check. You go on Google and you hit up NASA confirms human abilities is gained from sun staring. Here's the article. I'm going to break it down to you. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of... Is it there? Alright, so I'm going to read this one to you. You could Google it yourself and read it so you understand where I'm going with this with fasting. Okay, this is what it says. Ever wanted to be more than one place at one time? That's real. I'm talking about the superhuman abilities that can be gained by those who follow the protocol of what's known as sun gazing, a valid practice recently confirmed by NASA. Many proponents of the ancient technique used by many cultures such as Mayan, Egyptian, Aztec, Tibetan, Indian yoga report not only healing benefits to common illness, but obtain superhuman abilities such as advanced telepathy and going completely without the need for food. Okay, that was the first paragraph. Now I'm going to read the second one. What is sun gazing? Sun gazing, also known as sun eating, is a strict practice of gradually introducing sunlight into your eyes at the lowest ultraviolet index time of the day, sunrise and sunset. So those who teach the practice say there are several rules to the practice. First, it must be done within an hour after sunrise, before sunset, to avoid damaging the eyes. Second, you must be barefoot in contact with the actual earth, sand, dirt, or mud. And finally, you must begin with only 10 seconds the first day, increasing by 10 seconds interval each day of your practice. Following these rules makes the practice safe and says resources. Now, there's this guy comes on that says he's from Nikolai, whatever his last name is, of the Ukraine, called himself a sun eater. He has been practicing sun gazing for the past 12 years and has largely subsided off solar energy since he begun. Others have reported losing the need for food after only 9 months of sun gazing, by which time the practitioner has worked up a maximum of 44 minutes. After 9 months of practice, you need only walk barefoot on the earth for 45 minutes per day, 6 days in a row, to further the process of what has been initially initiated by sun gazing. Sun gazing is a practice also called the HRM phenomenon, coined as such after Hira Ratan, R-A-T-A-N, Hira, H-I-R-A, Ratan, and the last name Manek, M-A-N-E-K. And I advise you to get his book. It's called Living Off Sunlight. It's a very good book. Well, he goes on to say the man who submit himself to NASA, he was the man who submitted himself to NASA for scientific testing to confirm that he does not indeed possess the almost superhuman ability of not eating, gained through his dedication to the interest, marveled. Funded by NASA, a team of medical doctors at the University of Pennsylvania observed Hira 24 hours a day for 7 days a week for 100 days. NASA confirmed that he was indeed able to survive largely on light, with occasionally a small amount of buttermilk or water during this time. What happens to the body during sun gazing? That's the next question. You know, it says, during the first 3 months of practice, the sun energy is moving through the eyes and charging the hypothalamus tract, says those who have studied the technique and used it. The hypothalamus tract is the pathway to the rear of the retina. What's good? I'm doing something. Which leads to the brain. The brain then over time becomes activated by the energy supply being received by the sun. You will first experience a relief of mental tension and worry, since most worry is fueled by the energy received by the foods we eat. Since foods get its energy from the sun, it is said to be radically available to sun eaters without the trouble of digestion. Though hunger is said to eventually cease, it's fine to continue eating regularly during initial stages until appetite disappears naturally. So you see, by you sun staring, you lose your appetite. You won't have this thing called craving, because craving is a demon. We don't know what a demon is. But when you get into some craving and eating and all that, and you're going, I'm hungry, you're not really hungry. It's your mind telling you that. But once you learn what craving is, then you will lose that. So he goes on to say, another benefit early on is said to be an increase in confidence and an ability easily to solve your problems, as you are without tension. Everyone has at least a bit of psychosis, but during the first few months of sun gazing practice, it is reported that that attitude goes away and a positive, natural, graceful replaces old persons full of fears. By the end of the 3rd month, the gazing time will increase to 10 to 15 minutes per day. Report on sun gazing say that bad qualities normally associated with any person will gradually disappear and good qualities will remain, explaining that bad qualities only develop in the absence of sunlight. The same thing I've been telling y'all. Bad qualities like anger, fear, jealousy, lust are said to disappear and be replaced by certain confidence and spiritual knowing. That sense is more purely from the heart of an issue. So why would NASA be saying all this stuff then? And how could you go from like fear, ignorance, and all this to having good qualities just by staring at the sun? What type of nonsense is this? How come this is not being taught in school? Why nobody know this if NASA is saying this? So you got to understand. It's up to you to go seek out this information and understand what is going on in your body. These are things they're not going to tell you. You have to want to learn this. You know, I'm glad my subscriber asked questions like this, because it gives me a portal to open to these questions that I could give you great information, not just now with me saying it. I'm going to start giving you some data for you to go research yourself now. So, you know, it's going to get better. I'm going to give you books, whatever y'all need to give you, furnish the information to set you off on your journey, because I'm not going to be here forever. It's just to leave my little guide stone, and I want it to be good by y'all guiding me, and how could I help y'all? So that's what it is. So after 6 months of gazing, the studies show that physical diseases start to disappear. Diseases disappear from staring at the sun, and it's confirmed by NASA? All right. They say that the time one is gazing 30 minutes per day, building up 10 seconds per day, all the colors of the sun will have reached the brain. Colors? So y'all see why y'all see colors now? You have to wait till all the colors reach your brain. Color therapists attribute their healing of certain diseases to flooding the body and brain with the particular color that is lacking, depending on the ailment. So you see, when y'all see them colors, and I'm shining them from my phone and my camera, you know, I do this all day on y'all. This is how I rock y'all. And this is healing you. I'm sending you healing energy right here, right now. This is it. When you could have a magnetic field that could ping light like how it's doing like on my forehead, you're sending energy to people. It's a bend of magnetic field. Just looking at it heals you. And so that's how this works. And so, you know, you got to understand what's going on. This right here, too, is another, just looking at it heals you. This is what you're supposed to be looking at. This is inside your subconscious, and this is how you heal yourself. Why you think it pops like this around the third eye? This is what you need to actually open up your third eye. It's a chakra opener from God, from the higher beings. So I'm showing you that as I'm reading this. So it tell you, color therapists attribute their healing of certain diseases to flood the body and brain with the particular color that is lacking, depending on the ailment. For example, in the liver disease, the color is given deficiency. The kidney needs red and the heart yellow. All of the organs or all of the systems are said to respond to different colors of the rainbow, which is why it is also recommended to eat a diet rich in a variety of colors. Why do you think island people eat so much colorful ass food? You know, it is recommended during the 3 to 4 months period that you use auto-suggestions to see your body already healed of any perceived weaknesses or diseases. This action will facilitate the process of returning to wholeness. As you continue the process, it is reported that after 6 months, the energy stored from the technique is no longer being used for repairing the body or mind and can move on into supporting you in gaining more superhuman abilities. You can see that for yourself. I hope it shows. If not, it's a reflection. And now it says, what's beyond healing? Let's find out real quick. By 7.5 months of gazing, now at 35 minutes, need and desire for food is dwindled. You hear that? Need for desire and food is dwindled. So it's nothing crazy. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing you don't know about. It's right here. Information is here. It's all on your ego. What you want to learn is like, you know, is this important to you or not? It's basically like that. According to sun gazing experts, food is not actually needed to maintain the body. Whoa, really? Get out of here. My synopsis, you're really killing yourself by putting food in your mouth. And then cook food at that. You're supposed to eat a raw food diet. Eat your vegetables raw. Too bad you don't like it. Stop eating for flavor. I had to learn that because I forgot how to cook and couldn't cook no more. So I just throw some salt on it and eat it as it is. Sometimes I'll be so caught up with the soul, I ain't even got time to cook it. So I learned to eat natural, man. And to, you know what, it keep you young. You age only because your body is getting bigger. You still could look like a kid, perform like a kid. That's what yoga do. It just bending of the joints so them joints don't go to sleep. Like, you know, turn up on you and you need oil on it. So that's what you do. But it's the sun that is actually feeding you life again. It rebirths you and keep you regenerated. As long as you ain't oversized where your body is fighting detoxifications of the food you ate, really, that's what you got to do. Draw, man. Draw yourself. Stress yourself out. Go find a loving relationship and nigga stress you out. Smoke some trees. Smoke some cigarettes. Get yourself back to normal, then drop them habits. If you pick up them habits and you're stuck, then don't blame it was me. Because you ain't strong enough. You have to be strong in this world, and I'm being realistic with you. I'm not playing no games. I'm not here to kid you. I'm being real. But don't go and do all these things I just told you. I'm just joking, y'all. That's a joke. Really, and you do it with your mind. Force yourself. Okay. Like I was saying now, after 9 months of sun gazing, reaching a maximum of 44 minutes, it is advised that you give up sun gazing and redirect your attention to the earth. You see, that's where they lie to you. You're supposed to redirect your attention to the sky now. You've been on the earth. Your attention been on the earth the whole time. For 6 months, 6 days straight, one is to walk barefoot on the earth, 45 minutes per day. During the barefoot walking, the pineal gland is said to become activated. Professional sun gazers and those reaching the science say that each toe is connected to a specific gland. You know, and I got all the pictures, and I'm going to show you all that because I know it, man. My thyroid affect other parts of my body, and by fixing other parts of my body, I can fix my thyroid. Let me tell you, in healing, it really works like this. If one thing is out of whack, everything is out of whack. So you can't have arthritis and have diabetes. Once you have diabetes, everything else comes down, the arthritis. So you don't treat one. I mean, you don't treat them separately, each individual. You treat one and all the rest go away. Don't ever let them have you on 2, 3 medications. That's wrong. That's going to make a fourth problem come up. What you want to do is treat the one. It's a magnetic field that it's outside of the orange have a magnetic field, and inside the orange, every pulp have a magnetic field. Once you hit the first magnetic field of the outer, it sends it to every pulp, and all pulps is here. Same science, same philosophy when it comes to the body. Don't ever let somebody do it to you. You can sit down, close your eyes, meditate, forget about your problems, and set off the magnetic field, and the rest will heal itself over time. But you got to be consistent with it. Okay. Professional sun gazers and those researching the science say that each toe is connected to a specific gland, and by walking barefoot on the earth, you activate those glands. The big toe is thought to be aligned with the pineal gland, the second toe with the pituitary gland, then the hypothalamus gland. The thalamus, and finally the pinky toe correlates to the amygdala. Walking barefoot with the sun now falling on the top of your head, practitioners claim to create a sort of magnetic field in and around your body that reaches you and your brain. That's this. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, when you could bend a magnetic field, it's a difference. Let me see if I could pull it up. All right, you see? When you get down here and you start seeing it bending and the colors changing, it ain't just a sun off your head, and you get a field, that shows you that you're bending light. And that's what you want to do. You want to be able to bend the light. And so you get a good measure of where your magnetic field is and where you're at by doing these little tests right here. This is like a measurement tool to see what type of magnetic field you have and how is it responding. Do you get a response like this? Some people just get straight lines. You want to have the Spider-Man type lines. I'm going to put them in my other video. Right now, this is too intense and I'm not projecting, but once I start projecting on this will turn to like the Spider-Man web lines. You understand that? Just the ones coming down. So I understand what they're saying, and it's a fact. So he says apparently this walking barefoot parts is the most important aspect of practice. As you continue walking on the earth, this is when the magic really begins. The pineal gland is activated more and more by the walking procedure. Intellect is said to increase along with memory. The pineal gland has navigational and psychic abilities, meaning telepathy. The possibility of flight now are getting somewhere. Have you ever thought you would like to have your body is in more places than one at one time? Well, sun gazing is said to be magical key to such abilities. So that's all you need. You know, this is a 28-minute one. I didn't even mean for it to be so long. But you understand now, look, everything they're talking about in religion, religious books, all that the Hindus are saying with the gods, the Africans, that's all there. The Egyptians, the Babylonians, everything is saying F you do the sun staring, man. So sun staring was not something they worship. When y'all see them mythological pictures and ancient artifact pictures of the sun, you can't listen to these people about their worshiping anything. They're doing their medical work. You're gonna die without it. If you don't do it, you're gonna die. You want to live? Do what they're doing. There's no worshiping there. It's like actually breathing. It's like eating. You have to do it. Everybody did it. You know, today it's like, oh, the Indian. No, go back and you will see the Egyptians, the Babylonians, the Persians. Everybody was able to have their own self propel system, government system, all thought of about itself by tapping into this one consciousness, this Christ consciousness. Christ is the Son. There is no other Son. When you think in all that you're saying in biblical terms, that's called romance. Rome did that to you. They call that the drunk word. You believe words. You know, they used that to conquer India. India was, what, millions of people compared to Rome? 50,000 of them, not that little, but, you know, how that little country conquered the big-ass India, millions of people. There's a tale that they used was called romance. That's the meaning of it. Rome had a chance and they danced on India's mind psychologically and took it. So that's what the word romance means. So you can't believe the words of what people say. They romancing you and you drunk words towards it. That's what's called the drunk word, because you want to believe it. Your ego wants to participate in it. Not understanding the bad stuff you're going through, the nightmares, the dreams, people you're facing that curse you out, call you ugly. It's an ugly world, but we always trying to look past that and says beautiful, it's this. No, face the truth in it, because the truth will make you love the world. When you see something so ugly and evil, you're only going to want beauty. When you experience only bad stuff, you're only going to want good. And so you can't be good if you didn't experience the bad. That's what create the good. You can't have just say good. What's good? That means you created a bad somehow. But when you're seeing good for what good is, that's from experience. You experience the bad. So you know something good from in your heart. And so that's what this is all about. Once you do that, you always have the discipline and always remember that, and the honor and respect for your body and for the Son, Christos, Christ. And so you fast just off of that alone, that you know you're not alone. There's this light that give you light. This light that could ascend you and take you to another level through your spine. The spine is called Kundalini. Two energies come down when the sun is ready to hit you off. Give you two energies, the Hermes symbol, one snake this way and then the following snake the other way, to form that Kadua symbol. That's your whole powers right there. Once he give you that, you come out your crown chakra and you're able to leave and affect the atmosphere. So the discipline in eating right is actually letting the body feed on itself and letting yourself come out your body by it going to its natural resonance. I hope this helped you. University of Conscious